Gentlemen, if I could just get you to take a seat, please, so we can start. Thank you. Competitors, you may begin when you are ready.
Alberta. Been through a bit of a docile time the last couple of years, both socially and economically. Socially, there's a new NDP government that has come in, doing policy changes. Economically, it's been a couple of years of hardship looking at the oil price, the number one export, going straight down, just now getting a recent recovery. This has affected a lot of businesses. There's also been hardship in the last few months. We can look at the example of Fort McMac, which had the fires there, which was a catastrophe, left a lot of families out of their homes, a lot of jobs lost, had an economic impact of just over $1 billion. What we want to talk about is growth. Looking at Alberta, growth, as we've seen, is different. It's unexpected, and in order to ensure sustainability going forward, we want to propose that there's a plan in place working to establish these procedures. So, who are we? This is my partner Drew, Spencer. We represent Capital Consulting. We'd like to help you today identify what's going on with your business and how we can grow going forward. So first off, starting to identify your problem. We want to effectively and grow your business going forward. Currently, you've seen about 18% growth annually. It's fantastic. Way above the national average, above inflation. It's looking great. We don't foresee this as sustainable, especially with the volatility in Alberta. And while staying in that market, we want to help you grow and look back at that problem and be able to identify that this is something that needs to be, a sustainable outcome needs to be reached. So how are we going to do that? We're offering a solution of coming out and diversifying the business into small and medium enterprises, into small offshoot communities, smaller communities within the Alberta region, and enabling these communities and locales the empowerment of having your business model and your business offering. And the desired outcome of this is empowering these rural communities and establishing these connections and moving forward with them, growing with these communities. I'd just like to go into a bit of a mission statement, a vision statement that we want to establish for the next 5 years going forward with this plan. We want to empower these communities. So for the next 5 years, we'll be defined by our strategy of growth and a high level of customer service to create long-term sustainability. So going forward, we want to look at the business a little bit. So Topaz, it's a great business model right now. Small, it's a lean company, 4 employees, located out of Edmonton, has a long, good track record. Owner still on board, has bought out their partner. This shows a great track record for the C-suite, for the operating managers, take advantage of the opportunities in place. We're also looking at a revenue breakdown of essentially 49-49 with a 2% revenue stream coming from your services and your advising. This is something we're going to touch upon later as we foresee this is a very sustainable way to grow within your own means and really differentiate yourself from your competitors. We're also looking at your business in terms of revenue stream. So over 80% is customers that have either come back or have been referred. This is massive and speaks to the level of customer service you've been able to attain. So, we wanted to look at a couple pros and cons of what's going on with your business. So, some pros. Again, as we touched upon, the customers and the service. Customers want your business. They like what you're offering. So why not get out and reach out to new customers? The service. It's impeccable service. You're able to offer value proposition higher than your competitors based on high quality of service. Some cons though, you're a bit of a small fish. You're a price taker, not a price maker. It's tough to compete when larger companies are coming in and taking you away as their off-seller. You're looking at companies like Amazon, who recently took on, gave a 50% price decrease to what you're offering, which affected the bottom line by effectively 20%. This is something we have to mitigate. We have to look forward a different way to kind of adapt to that. So, some secondary problems that we want to address going forward. So pricing pressure. Again, predatory pricing from larger companies enabling us to reach our profit targets is unacceptable, and we're going to have to either differentiate our business or go into new profit ventures to enable sustainability. We're looking at an inability to compete and a limited customer base. Currently, the customer base is limited to very direct locales, not as geographically diversified as it could be. As well, those repeat customers are coming from a very small fraction of the total market share. The cloud computing and SAS software industry is forecasted to grow from about 30% currently to about 70% in the next 5 years. This is a huge opportunity for us to take advantage of. In terms of competitor analysis, and my colleagues are going to touch upon later, we looked at the earnings before income tax depreciation as the main earnings multiple, and as we're going forward, looking at a couple different acquisitions or a couple different options, that's where the basis of a lot of our assumptions are going to be built off of. There are also three main competitors, or we can say three groups of main competitors. Two larger companies, and we've coupled three major competitors into essentially just to normalize our data when we're working towards finding efficient and accurate pricing targets. So, some numbers. I'd like you to refer to Appendix A actually, if you have the printout. I think this will make a little bit more sense. So, currently we're looking at the industry average. Again, as I said, we normalize the data. So we put a weighted average between the first two, which are completely larger firms than the last three possible acquisitions. When you're looking at these three different values, it's essentially three values being represented in one. So, our revenue current industry average is about 1.2 million. This is representative that the industry is doing well. Again, with your revenue stream, 4.9 million, the revenue is there. The money is coming in. But let's look at the efficiency. Pre-tax profit, we're less than half of what our competitors are doing. With that kind of revenue, that's unacceptable. We need to be more efficient in leaning this out. So how are we going to do that? Well, we're thinking going into consulting. Currently, we have about a 50% margin. Again, our team unsure if that's sustainable. Again, with Alberta, we want to be very mitigating a lot of risk, be very safe, be very conservative. We're looking long-term at about a 35% margin going forward for operational activity and sales. Now, pass it off to Matt.
Thank you, Stuart. So we've identified as three options going forward. So initially there is the acquisition. So pros of this, it allows you to expand your reach within the community, it allows you to acquire new clients and expand your business. It also expands your reach and your depth of your business. Second was making your own hardware. So you have licensing availabilities from a cheap distributor in Taiwan. So this allows you to control what the product is, and it also provides a good margin, which will give you the boost to your bottom line, which as we've seen has been an issue compared to your competitors. And finally, the service. This has been where you guys have been able to really excel. You found a niche in the market, that small guy, and really exploited that and allowed yourselves to be indispensable to these services. And we really think that this should be something we grow going forward. So a little valuation in comparison to that acquisition. So based on the multiples provided, we see that the asking prices range between 1.2 million and 2.3 million based on the competitor that you're looking to acquire. Given your current financial situation, this seems a little unattainable as you've worked very hard to get full control of your business. Therefore, having an equity offering does not seem very feasible and in line with your current strategy. Also, taking on that much debt really changes the structure of your business and would really cripple you for other expansion in the future. And with the option of licensing equipment, it requires an upfront cost of about $850,000. Again, very capital intensive. And in the technology sector, having that inventory for a long period of time, if you're unable to move it, things get obsolete very quickly. And having that amount of inventory become obsolete would be very detrimental to your future sustainability. Therefore, we believe going forward that the best option is to focus on that service, focus on that consulting. You've been able to provide extremely good service, which is what has grown your business in the past. As Stuart mentioned, a lot of your business comes from referrals as well as return customers. So we made a little matrix to analyze the three options. As you can see, acquisition is a total of 9. Based on, it has moderate risk based on the financials, but it does allow for a lot of growth, given the 5, and affordability. It's very expensive, therefore it got a very low score. As you can see, the service option is going very high across the board. Gives a lot of affordability as you are able to scale it to how much you are growing. As well, the risks are small. Again, this scalability allows you to really lean it down and rein it in based on how fast you're able to grow your service sector. So, moving forward. Chosen option, again, just to reiterate, it is that service option. So focusing on that niche market. You've been able to build good connections within the municipalities, and as you've been able to demonstrate, your ability to turn over these connections into referrals has been very successful in the past. Therefore, we believe that by really leveraging these connections, you'll be able to rein in other municipalities and become the IT service for these municipalities. You'll be able to expand into these municipalities as they are expanding and they are growing, and together you can create a sustainable partnership being that IT sector for these small municipalities. As a lot of these guys are being overlooked by the big competitors, they are also small fish. You have that in common. You're able to relate on that level and move forward together in a sustainable partnership. So, a little more of a breakdown. Oh, that goes that way. So timeline. Broken into 4 major parts. First, establish those connections with the municipality. You currently have a few in place, but we really need to leverage that and expand it further. Second, sales. You need to really push your service on these customers. And once you've been able to get your foot in the door, you can really provide that service and show why you are that differentiator and why your service is irreplaceable and how you can really partner with them and those municipalities that can't afford to have their own IT department and provide that small bit of service consistently and effectively. And finally, growing. Growing through other municipalities, and once you're in those municipalities with those government entities, you will be able to filter down into the public sector, private sector in these municipalities, and really be able to leverage those connections that you're making in this industry. So, the first year, establish. Right away, immediately you need to leverage those connections going forward and really drive home the service that you're able to provide and get your foot in the door. So that's right now. In order to sustain this initial cost, or this initial plan, you will need to expand your IT consulting department. So we recommend hiring 2 consultants. Given the average hiring cost of about 50% annual salary, we put this in around $37,000 for the cost of hiring these 2 consultants, and total salary expense for the year being about $72,000. So your annual cost for the first year will be about $100,000, just over $100,000. And our goal for this first year is to really push you into the 6 municipalities. This will be a good start and allow you to really start building those connections and continue your geographical spread across Alberta.
Okay, so as my colleagues have talked about, there's plenty of opportunity here for a small business. Working in the IT department, providing service, sales of both hardware and software, there's a lot of potential here as a small business to grow up and go out there and really bring in all kinds of new clients and have these lasting relationships that are currently in the business model of repeat customers and referrals that are so strong to this business here. So in this stage here, looking at the sales of 1 to 2 years, we've outlined a plan that is going to focus on sales first, and with time we're going to focus on selling them the consulting and IT running the phones, making sure that this growth is going to be attainable within a timely fashion here in about 5 years. Looking at quarter two, we want to bring in larger contracts. So now that the sales staff have been established within these communities that Spencer talked about, we're talking municipalities that are small and that have been pushed aside by the larger firms that don't want to deal with the smaller contracts. The example here was $200,000 contracts are kind of the tipping point that under that they are just left behind. And this is the niche market that we really want to capitalize on taking advantage of moving forward within this plan here. So with this increase in contracts and consultants, we're going to bring in a new office so that we can really facilitate this operation moving forward. And the costs we've incurred here are around $210,000 for years 1 to 2. And the goal here, like we said, is really continue this expansion into first the 6 municipalities, moving forward into different municipalities that will allow us to really get the foot in the door and work together moving forward. So now this is the year focus that we talked about. This is the service that is going to follow the sales. So once we've sold all the equipment to these municipalities, and here we're talking with small businesses. So we are a small business. We want to work with small businesses, ensuring that they can really establish themselves well within the community and grow themselves. And this being said, we do want to also focus on government offices. So as we all know, lots of the government offices probably have outdated equipment. They don't have the funds necessarily in place. So working together with them, this is a huge opportunity for us to move forward and really bring in a lot of extra business for us. This is also return customers and referrals are very important here because as we know, that's what our business is founded on, and that's what we want to continue moving forward, is ensuring that once you're in the municipalities, you'll be able to bring these customers back again, especially with the service sector that we are not currently focusing too much on. It, like Stuart said, it's only about 2% of your business and revenue breakdown, and we really want to reallocate this so we can bring in more revenue because we do have a seen 50% profit margin. On the high end, we could expect maybe around 30 to 40%, a little conservatively moving with this. And further on, we have continued growth. So this is the kind of long-term plan here. What we really want to do is after we've become established in these municipalities, we want to look at expanding even geographically. So right now, the focus is right on Alberta. We could say go to the West Coast, look at some of the small northern communities that are up there that don't necessarily have a service provided to you by other people such as Amazon for cloud computing. This would also bring in the acquisition options that were mentioned to us earlier, how you want to possibly pair up with other firms to sell IT products and service. This is where we would be able to bring that in. Just because we've saved costs in other areas, at this point we'll have funds available to be able to move forward and possibly do this. And also, kind of near the end of this time, we want to be looking into further growing our sales staff and diversifying the portfolio here. So this could be possibly bringing in and manufacturing our own products that we could start selling to our already established customers that we have in the region here. And furthermore, increasing the margins that have been taking a hit over the past few years with the cloud computing and SaaS software. And so this is just the timeline here. So with the options that were given to us that we came up, we wanted to show you that the option we chose is the best. So we've got a cost of just under $600,000, and this is a staggered cost though. This is not a one-time upfront cost. This cost was calculated over the period of 5 years, incurring more sales staff, more training, office space, so on, as opposed to the other option that we were thinking of, which would be a upfront cost of just around $900,000 that is very risky. Once you go in, there's no going back. And we found that this is a far better, more practical option for you as a firm to move forward and grow.
Right, so we looked at a couple of risks associated with implementing this plan. So again, as we discussed right up front, low growth in the Alberta economy leads to low growth. It's reflected on the bottom lines of small medium enterprises and some non-for-profits, again, our target demographic for this. So in order to mitigate that, again, by differentiating ourselves and by diffusing our strategy across geographic regions, we're able to take advantage of these small to medium enterprises, really build those relationships and establish long-term connections. Again, 80% return customers, between return customers and referrals. So with that, an inability to adapt, so as Spencer kind of touched upon, with technology, we really have to be constantly moving forward, constantly training. So a concern that was brought up again was that some of the employees may not be mobile at all times, as the industry is somewhat cyclical. So what we're saying is, while we're bringing these new staff incrementally, we're helping them learn the sales side as well as bring their IT expertise in and making them essentially agents of our firm. And last but not least, continued disintermediation. The bottom line is we're losing profit from bigger companies coming in, taking away from the usefulness of our firm, What we're suggesting is that you move forward, use those relationship skills that you have, use those relationship building techniques that you've used to differentiate yourself, and create value moving forward in the long term. So again, looking at what we want to say at the very beginning, the next 5 years will be defined by our strategy of growth and our ability to offer a different product, to differentiate yourself with a product offering unique and individualized to the service that's over us. We think that in order to do this, you have to implement our strategy and take the long-term ability to grow within your own means. Again, looking forward to some acquisitions going forward to compete with the bigger firms. Thank you very much for your time. I'd like to open the floor to questions.
I've got a few questions.
Sure.
First of all, you identified, I think, pretty well the fact that we're underperforming in terms of profit compared to our competitors. Do you consider just raising the price?
Sure. Yeah. Essentially, with the price, we see ourselves as a very niche market, and that if by raising the price on these already connections that you've already established, you may be losing out on that market potential and taking down existing customers' desire to maintain their relationships with you. Again, we can't base it off of a lot of the larger competitors. We have nowhere near the infrastructure to compete with. So I think by maintaining our current pricing strategy of being a bit of in the middle of the market pricer, we'll create a better value proposition going forward.
Okay. And then this is kind of a two-part question here, I guess. The question is, do you think your plan's aggressive enough? So if disintermediation is a problem and it's coming at us quickly, and we're going to gain, from what I saw, $265,000 in revenue per year, you think that's going to overcome the problem fast enough to get us there versus buying a Certi or something and trying to increase volume, which has its risks and we'll push risk level up, but doubles the revenue for essentially the same investment, even though it's an upfront cost.
So with that disintegration, that's people going right to the manufacturer and skipping us. So becoming that essential service and being that service provider makes you invaluable to your consumer. Therefore, that relationship is intact, especially in those smaller markets where they feel like they've been overlooked by these big companies. By establishing that relationship and providing a service that you can't replace simply by buying a product from a manufacturer, it will really make a more sustainable future for your company, because the manufacturer can always give a better price than an intermediary, as they can charge you straight from the distributor. By making that relationship in between indispensable and invaluable, you'll be able to keep those customers going forward, rather than simply having a big boom right now and not lasting into the future.
So just being invaluable to our clients, is maybe your point. We face disintermediation because they can now buy service over the cloud.
Absolutely.
So and your recommendation is to move more into the services business, but what specifically would we do with services? Services is a broad general statement.
So the problem in these municipalities is a lot of them have grown quickly. Like the bedroom community idea has been a very growing idea in Canada. So they've had a lot of big boom in these just outside of metropolitan areas. So they have a lot of services that need to be provided. And with those services, there is an IT component that needs to be in place, especially with local municipal government. So being a third-party IT firm will be able to not only cut costs for them, but have a lot of smaller clients that add up to having the equivalent of large clients in big cities. So by being essentially a third-party IT firm, as well as an IT product distributor, we'll be able to connect with those communities and allow them to continue to operate those services that they needed due to their rapid growth.
Yeah, I think it was more on what kind of consulting are we going to do that they're going to buy?
So because you're in the business of buying and selling both software and hardware, the consultants will be there to really meet the need, make sure the needs are met of these rural municipalities, whether it be the type of computer that they should buy, whether it's they only need this certain type of software. The consultants will be there to make sure that, like I say, the needs are fulfilled, products and services are delivered to them with that personal touch that the business was built on over time.
You outlined you want to get into 6 municipalities, and you're going to pay $40,000 for 2 consultants, roughly. Do you worry that the price you're paying is going to be significantly cheaper than the quality you need to affect that much change?
So the $37,000 was the hiring cost, is the average hiring cost is about 50% of the year of the salary. So each individual salary is roughly $40,000, not 2 salaries being $40,000.
Sorry, but that still goes back to the question. If you're going to pay somebody $40,000 and 2 people $80,000, do you not worry that that is relatively a cheap amount to go into 6 municipalities and have each one of those people raise roughly $210,000 in their first year?
I think in terms of this, we're looking at getting value out of our employees by looking at the systems you've employed and empowering those employees to move forward. Again, yeah, $40,000 may seem cheap, but we'll also, once they start getting onto the sales side, there will be a lot of commission incentives and kind of moving towards that trend. Again, with the customer service valuation and trying to expand that area of the business, we're really counting on these consultants. And so with 40, again, with the whole option, we're looking at a very conservative model where we're trying to react to the economy, not anticipate what's going to happen, instead of being very kind of, you do this, we do that. We want to be in front of the economy.